Hey, this is Peter from Weekly Options Advisory at ShadowTrader.net. Before I get into the video, I want to just reference these two videos on our YouTube channel that I did 2 weeks ago and a few days ago. This is the weekend edition show that I do once a week, which I hope you're checking out. And the reason I'm starting with this is just to kind of reiterate that this has been my thesis for the last two videos. For a couple of weeks now, here and here, I've been talking about specifically that I feel that the market is not selling off hard, that it's just coming down in a very rotational manner, and you're seeing money coming out of technology and into other sectors, and that continues to be true day after day. So the NDX here has now lost the 8 EMA, and there's probably a good chance that it's going to the 21. But even before we look into the sectors, the perfect proof of this rotation is the fact that, look at where this is technically, how deep the retracement was just today. And then look at the S&P, which is a much wider version of the market, for lack of a better word, right? And look where it's sitting. You've had 3 solid days now that have come down, and all 3 have attempted to push either to the 8 or through the 8, and all 3 have failed. So thus far, this is absolute proof of what I've been saying, that this market is very rotational. And as for now, remember, we can only speak about what's happening at this moment. We don't exactly know what the future brings. Of course, things could accelerate. Things could get more, selling across the board. There could be a catalyst. But as of now, this is what's happening. And you can see this even more clearly if we look at our market internals. This is the sidebar, as I call it, that I have up at all times. And look at just from the breadth. NASDAQ breadth negative, and the NYSE breadth is 2.5 to 1. But here's where it really tells the tale. All of these boxes are measured from the open, and look at technology, down almost 1.5% from the open, but look at the green here. And remember that dark green means that the sector was up more than 0.5% from the open. And at one point today, I'm speaking to you on Monday, June 24th, all of these were green at one point. Everything except technology was green at one point, okay? But what matters really is kind of how you end the day, and this is just a classic example of that. And it's the same thing with the weighted AD, right? The weighted AD is just the graphical representation of everything that you're seeing here. And notice how positive it was for the most of the day here. And then when it went negative, what did it do? It just kind of bumped along the zero line. So that means that altogether, these 11 sectors that make up this histogram, they absolutely weren't able to sell off. And the tick also is telling you something important too, because what does the tick look like on heavier selling? Do you have a low tick of minus 866, which is just only happening once here? Or do you have lots of minus 1,000 ticks banging down into this area? The answer would be the latter. So for now, again, we're just in a very, very rotational market, and that's what we're getting. And I can bring even the profile into this as well on the ES, in that notice that as we've come down, at least on the ES side of things, this is the profile of the ES, value has not changed. And that's very, very important to understand that really you have 3 days here where the value is the same. And here's the POC where the most volume traded on this day. And here's this one. And look what happened on this one is prices closed all the way down here with a little bit of excess on the bottom. But was there a migration of the POC lower? No. So this is just yet another data point that in a weaker session, the POC would move down. It would migrate with price because people would be committing higher and higher volume to lower and lower prices. So something to keep in mind basically is that right now we're in a very, very rotational market. I do think that technology has the capacity to move lower, and it could. A lot of this is being fed by money coming out of NVIDIA. And you'll note that it's, it lost its 21 today, and it's got some room to move down. I don't know if it's going to actually come to the 100. This would probably be a screaming buy if it did. But you want to kind of keep an eye on a lot of these stocks that are, in that AI space, or at least driven by it, semiconductors, etc. Avgo is a good example. A lot of what I think is happening here is just the late to the party money coming out, and that's causing the weakness in the NDX, all right? If this is to continue, I just want to show you a trade that you could do that makes perfect sense. I'll leave you on this note, is do a pairs trade and be long this pair. Be long the S&P and short the QQQ, or you can be long the RSP and be short the QQQ, which is the equal weight. RSP is the equal weight S&P, which may actually move better to the upside. You can see it's obviously a somewhat cleaner chart. But that may also work well as well if we're going to see this same dynamic continue for some time longer. Hey, this is Peter from ShadowTrader.net, and I just wanted to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you'd like to trade live with me every day in my weekly options advisory, then check out the link in the description below. I wish you good trading, and I'll see you in the room.